First, private capital should take a bigger role in the mortgage market. I know that sounds confusing to folks who call me a socialist. I think I saw some posters there on the way in. But I actually believe in the free market, and just like the health care law that we put in place, Obamacare, which by the way, if you don't have health insurance, or you're buying it at exorbitant rates on the individual market, starting on October 1st, you can join a marketplace and be part of a pool that gives you much lower premiums, saves you a lot of money. But
oh, yeah. He is, he just waves that magic wand, and the man who believes in free market better than anyone else in the history of that office, he just lowers your health care and makes everything right. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. That was the president in Phoenix before he did the Leno show last night. And joining us right now to talk about a host of things, I'm glad to welcome to the show Craig Smith, CEO of Swiss America Trading Company. Hey, Craig, how are you?
I'm great, Steve. Thanks for inviting me. And, boy, I got quite a chuckle out of that piece you just ran.
I thought you would. I saw you the other day, and I was trying to remember. Was it with Cavuto? Was it on CNN? I don't remember where I saw you. But I said he's going to love this. By the way, I'm not a socialist. I love the free market. As long as I control it all, I love it.
Yeah, well, it was with Neil Cavuto, and we joke about it all the time that, he wants to talk about being a free market person, yet he wants a single-payer health system, and I think that's pretty clear at this point. And what Mr. Obama doesn't understand about the free market, Steve, and I'm sure you know this, and that is that in order for Obamacare to work, he has to have a lot of young people pay into the system who are healthy and not using services to take care of all the people that are not paying in that do need to use the services. And the problem with that is we're losing 10,000 people a day to retirement and replacing those 10,000 people a day with part-time workers. 77% in the last jobs report of all the jobs created were part-time jobs. They're low-paying jobs. Most of these kids can't afford to pay into this health care exchange where your rates are going to go down, which, by the way, they've gone up dramatically since he's announced that 3 years ago. So he just doesn't understand the basic math of economics or free markets, Steve, and we've seen it. And as I said on Cavuto's show, he will go down in history. And I know this got to make Jimmy Carter the happiest guy in the world, as the worst president economically. He may be a nice man. He's a wonderful family guy. Look, he's got a lovely wife and children. I mean, you can't fault him for that. But his financial policies have been a disaster, Steve.
I know that. But do you think, I mean, again, I think we could all agree that he's not a stupid man. And I think we could all agree that he doesn't love the free market. And I think we could all agree that that he puts policies in place, policies that have failed, policies that have taken this country in a very definitive direction, as you alluded to, that the part-time employment is becoming the new normal for so many millions of Americans. More and more young adults are moving back home and living with their families. I mean, the statistics go on and on, whether you want to talk about welfare or food stamps or assistance. I mean, it's a disaster. He has to know that his policies are moving the country in this direction, and it's not going to change.
Well, I think he knows that, but I think his ideology makes him believe that at a certain point things will kick in and utopia will return and everybody can have free everything. I think what he leaves out of the equation, Steve, is a historical perspective that Keynesian economics and socialism, and that's really what it is, have never worked in the history of the world. Look, Keynesian economics have failed and failed grossly. When we decided to become a welfare nation in 1971, when Richard Nixon closed the gold window, because Alan Greenspan had warned everybody in 1964, you can't have a welfare state with a gold standard.
Right.
We exponentially created a welfare state that, as you know, we're now 47% of all Americans get something from the federal government. And look, we're watching history. In 1934, when President Roosevelt rolled out Social Security, which was deemed to fail, the math doesn't work. You know, everybody saw history. Well, in 2014, we're seeing history again with the largest entitlement program this country has ever seen. And I really do believe, Steve, that this is the entitlement program that will be the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay, having said, and you're talking about Obamacare, having said that, do you believe the Republicans, to get political here with them, do you believe that the Republicans should risk, again, they're almost conceding a loss here. They're almost conceding that if the government gets shut down, if they defund a part of Obamacare and the government gets shut down, they're conceding that they will have done it. They will not have done it. It takes two to tango to close the government down, or some cases, in this case, three. Well, so do you believe they should risk it and defund, say, the IRS agents or a particular part and let the chips fall where they may?
Yes.
I agree.
And let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Because this is our last shot. Look, I wrote a paper years ago, a white paper called Social Insecurity. And we showed how mathematically it just doesn't work unless your demographics are continuing to increase. Social Security has been, how many times have we raided the lock boxes, and how many times do we have to show people that it doesn't work? Look at all the pensions around the big cities. It's collapsing. Detroit, Stockton. These numbers don't work, Steve. And this is the last chance that the Republican Party, which should be the opposition party against a law that is horrible for America. Look, it sounds great from the surface. I want to see everybody get health care. I don't want to see anybody be sick. But the math doesn't work, Steve. And this is our last shot. And so I would rather go down in flames, if you will, and know that we did the right thing, because I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before Obamacare has to be changed, just like we've changed Social Security 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the changes are going to hurt the economy. I heard a commercial about this survival guide. You're going to need a survival guide to get through Obamacare. I can assure you of that.
The people don't even have a clue, and day after day, there's more and more talked about how now when people go to sign up, the IT section won't be secure, and they risk getting hacked and having their information and identity theft. So it is such a mess. But the Republicans don't have the guts. They will not do it. The leadership will not let it happen, and it'll be a mistake of a generation, and for generations to come. Listen, I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope you'll come back, sir.
Love to. Nice being with you.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Craig Smith, ladies and gentlemen, CEO of Swiss